The observation deck of the Valkyrian flagship hummed with barely contained energy as the Empire's most powerful figures gathered to witness the arrival of Earth's diplomatic vessel. The humans had finally answered the galactic community's invitation, though none among the assembled rulers quite understood why these newcomers caused such unusual interest. Queen Velara stood at the center viewport, her crystalline form refracting the starlight into dancing patterns across the polished floor. She had ruled the Valkyrian dominion for 3 centuries, expanding her territory through calculated marriages and strategic alliances with other species. Her collection of consorts represented the finest specimens from 17 different worlds, each chosen for their exceptional qualities and the political advantages they brought. The human ship emerged from hyperspace with less fanfare than expected. It was smaller than the grand vessels other species brought for first contact, functional rather than ostentatious. Velara's primary advisor, a 4-armed Keltorian named Breck, shifted nervously beside her. "Your Majesty, the humans have confirmed their delegation numbers." "Only 5 individuals," Breck reported, scanning his datapad with 2 hands while the other 2 clasped behind his back. "5?" Galara's voice carried the musical quality of chiming glass. "Most species send dozens for first contact protocols. The humans appear to value efficiency over ceremony," Breck suggested. The Queen's attention remained fixed on the approaching vessel. She had studied the limited information available about humanity. They were a young species, barely having achieved faster-than-light travel within the last generation. Their homeworld was classified as a deathworld by galactic standards, with gravity that would crush most species and an atmosphere rich in corrosive oxygen. Yet they had not only survived, but thrived in such conditions. The docking procedures completed, and Velara moved toward the reception hall with her entourage. She adjusted her formal robes, garments woven from solar silk that shimmered with captured light. First impressions mattered in diplomacy, and she intended to demonstrate the Valkyrian dominion's superiority in culture and refinement. The airlock doors opened with a pneumatic hiss. The human delegation stepped through, and Velara's breath caught in a way she had not experienced in decades. They were smaller than she expected, these humans. Where most species achieved physical dominance through size or natural weaponry, humans appeared deceptively fragile. But there was something in the way they moved, a controlled grace that spoke of coiled potential. Their eyes scanned the reception hall with sharp intelligence, assessing threats and cataloging details in seconds. The lead human stepped forward. He was older, with hair gone silver and lines carved into his face by time. "I am Ambassador Richards. On behalf of the United Earth Coalition, we thank you for this welcome." Velara barely heard him. Her gaze had locked onto the youngest member of the human delegation. He stood at the back of the group, appearing barely old enough to have left his homeworld. Where the others wore formal diplomatic attire, this one's clothing was slightly less polished, suggesting he was perhaps an aide or translator rather than a principal negotiator. His hair was dark and unruly, his frame lean rather than imposing. By conventional standards, he should have been unremarkable, yet Velara found she could not look away. There was something in his eyes, a depth that seemed to hold storms. When he met her gaze across the reception hall, she felt a jolt of recognition for something she could not name. "That one," she whispered, lifting one crystalline finger to point directly at the young human. Her voice carried clearly in the sudden silence. "That human will be mine." The reception hall erupted in shocked murmurs. Breck's 4 arms flailed in distress. Ambassador Richard's expression cycled through confusion, concern, and careful neutrality in rapid succession. The young human in question appeared frozen, his eyes widening with unmistakable alarm. "Your Majesty," Breck hissed urgently, leaning close. "This is first contact. Diplomatic protocols must be observed. You cannot simply claim a member of their delegation. Velara turned to her advisor, and he took an involuntary step back from the intensity in her gaze. I have claimed what I desire. Now we merely negotiate the terms. She had shocked even herself with the declaration, but Velara had not built an empire by second-guessing her instincts. Something about this human called to her, and she had learned long ago to trust such impulses. They had led her to power, to victory, to the expansion of her realm across a dozen star systems. Ambassador Richards cleared his throat, his diplomatic composure reasserting itself. Your Majesty, I believe there may be some cultural misunderstanding at work here. Perhaps we should adjourn to discuss the protocols of our respective civilizations. There is no misunderstanding, Velara replied smoothly. I have stated my intention clearly. I wish to take the young human as my consort. In return, the Velcarian Dominion will offer Earth full membership in our alliance network, access to our trade routes, and military protection under our fleet umbrella. The young human finally found his voice. I'm just a junior analyst. My name is Tom. I'm here to take notes and carry equipment. His voice cracked slightly on the last word. Velara smiled, an expression that caused her crystalline features to refract light in mesmerizing patterns. I care not for your title or function. I have chosen you. Your Majesty, Richards interjected. His diplomatic tone strained. We appreciate the generous offer of alliance, but humans don't engage in the exchange of individuals for political arrangements. Our species considers such practices to be contrary to our core values regarding personal autonomy. Then let the young one choose freely, Velara countered. I withdraw any implication of trade. Instead, I offer courtship under whatever terms his culture deems appropriate. But I will not withdraw my interest. Tom looked to his ambassador with an expression of complete bewilderment. The other delegation members shifted uncomfortably, clearly unprepared for this scenario, despite whatever briefings they had received. Breck leaned close to Velara again. My queen, this is highly irregular. We know almost nothing of human biology or psychology. What if they are incompatible with our species? Then I will learn, Velara said simply. This is not merely political advantage I seek, Breck. This is something more. She could not explain it even to herself. In 3 centuries of life, through countless courtships and alliances, she had never felt this immediate pull toward another being. The humans were new to the galactic stage, offering no significant military strength or resources that her empire truly needed. By all logical assessment, pursuing this interest made little strategic sense, yet logic seemed a poor tool for understanding the sensation that had struck her the moment. She saw Tom's eyes. There was a strength in him, hidden beneath the awkward exterior. She recognized it instinctively, perhaps because she had cultivated similar strength within herself over centuries of rule. He was young by his species' standards, still unsure of his own potential, but she could see it nonetheless. I need to make a call to Earth, Richard said carefully. This situation requires guidance from officials with greater authority than my own. Of course, Velara agreed graciously. We shall provide private communication facilities. But understand that my interest will not change regardless of your government's response. As the humans were escorted to the diplomatic quarters, Tom glanced back over his shoulder at the alien queen. Velara met his gaze steadily, refusing to look away. She saw fear there, yes, but also curiosity. That was enough for now. After the humans departed, Rek turned to his queen with all 4 arms crossed. This could complicate our diplomatic relations with Earth significantly, or strengthen them beyond measure, Velara replied. She moved to the viewport, watching the stars wheel past in their eternal dance. The humans are Deathworlders, Breck. They come from a place that tried to kill them at every turn. Yet they not only survived, but reached for the stars. That kind of resilience, that strength, is rare in the galaxy. And you want it for yourself? Breck observed. Velara nodded slowly. I want to understand it, to know it, perhaps to share it. She turned back to her advisor. Prepare the formal courtship protocols. Research human customs regarding such matters. I will pursue this properly, by their standards as well as ours. And if he refuses? The queen was silent for a long moment. Then I will accept his choice, as I promised. But I do not believe he will refuse. There is a bond here, Rek. I felt it, and unless I am greatly mistaken, he felt it too. In the diplomatic quarters, Tom sat with his head in his hands while Ambassador Richards attempted to explain the situation to increasingly confused officials back on Earth, the other delegation. Members offered sympathetic looks, but little practical assistance. This is insane, Tom muttered. A nobody. Why would an alien queen who could literally choose anyone in the galaxy want me? But even as he spoke the words, he remembered the moment their eyes had met. There had been something there, a connection that transcended species and culture. It terrified him even as it fascinated him. The galaxy had just become far more complicate than any of humanity's first contact protocols had prepared them for. And somehow, a junior analyst named Tom stood at the center of it all, chosen by an alien queen for reasons neither of them fully understood.